Today, some of the biggest MAGA supporters who powered the Jeffrey Epstein controversy have gone silent following the House Oversight Committee's release of 20,000 new emails. Of course, some of those emails include the president's name. And as MSNBC's Brandy Zadrozny notes, this time, instead of firing up the conspiracists, the unearthed communications met with a reaction on the right that was swift and uncharacteristically dismissive. Nothing to see here. Brandy joins me here in studio. Also here, Elise Jordan, co-host of MSNBC's The Weekend Prime Time, and was an aide in the George W. Bush White House. Brandy, tell us more about this MAGA reaction that you've been following.
Weird, right?
Right.
Strange, even. Yeah. I mean, if I know one thing about Alex Jones and the whole MAGA lot is that they love a data dump. They love a leaked email. And so to get these leaked emails, one that said something like, the dog that hasn't barked is Trump, is like, I mean, I was abuzz with what they would say. And I went to go see what they saw on their programs and their shows and their tweets. And it was nothing. Oh, this proves nothing. This just proves that Epstein was trying to pull Trump into his orbit. You know, a nothing burger is what Alex Jones called it. Mike Cernovich said if Trump had been involved in the Epstein trips, it would have been leaked already. He's being led to slaughter. So all of these people pretty much said, you know, nothing to see here. Trump whisperer Laura Loomer said we should really be focusing on the Muslims in Congress. Just very strange stuff from these folks. I will say after a day...
You already do that every day, Laura.
Yes. After a day of like moving themselves into pretzels to try to say that these new emails, which were pretty explosive in their suggestions, that they meant nothing, today with the president's pivot that we just saw to suggest that AG Bondi should now go after Democrats and others involved in these leaks. That has been sort of red meat for this space. And so now they are happily again saying, OK, there is something to look at, just not at Trump.
Well, but consistency would suggest that they would say this is why we need to see them, because we need the context for this.
I will say to you, they are with the president for now. These are the folks that grew a movement based on save the children and drain the swamp. And they want those documents.
Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna was on this network last night, Elise, and he said J.D. Vance has been conspicuous by his silence. Let's listen to that.
He, more than Donald Trump, was on every podcast, every television show saying, let's release the Epstein files. This is someone who made that his cause. And now there's not a word from him. I mean, he is so afraid of saying anything that's going to upset Donald Trump. At the same time, he knows the absurdity of the position of not releasing the files. So he is offering a position of silence. But this is not going to work for him. And it's the first time really the MAGA base is seeing that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have become part of the swamp that they railed against.
Elise, what do you make of J.D.?
You know, for once, J.D. Vance doesn't have a nasty quip or a book to write on Twitter giving his opinion. You know, the guy is so online. You wonder how he actually does any work yet. He's vice president, so I guess that's, you know, he's doing his job via Twitter. But there's nothing good for him to get out of wading into this. There's still too many unknowns, and it is a minefield. If you have a couple of IQ points, you know that you don't want to get out too far defending Donald Trump. And so you watch the cagey language that the MAGA influencers are using. They aren't denying that this is a scandal. They're just trying to deflect it and push it off on someone else.
We just got something that I want to read at least part of to you. It starts, "Dear esteemed members of the Senate and House of Representatives." It is from the family of Virginia Roberts Giuffre, and as fellow survivors of Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and their co-conspirators. They write in part this: as you gather with your family this season, remember that your primary duty is to your constituents. Look into the eyes of your children, your sisters, your mothers, and your aunts. Imagine if they had been preyed upon. Imagine if you yourself were a survivor. What would you want for them? What would you want for yourself? When you vote, we will remember your decision at the ballot box. The decision is coming up next week. Do you think the pressure is building from American voters?
I think the pressure's been there for a while, frankly. And I think that this summer with Donald Trump's birthday letter to Jeffrey Epstein that the Wall Street Journal posted, it really has been at the forefront. At times it's receded, but it's never really gone away. And you look at how all of these survivors descended on Capitol Hill at the beginning of September. They have been out front for months now. You have a House of Representative Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva. She was elected on September 23rd, is just getting sworn in. This has been delayed for so long, and it's at the moment of truth and reckoning where what's being hidden. That's what everyone wants to know.
Well, I wonder, too, if some of the people who are very influential in the MAGA crowd, whether they themselves may consider themselves MAGA, but people on the right who are influential, they can read the polls, they can read the room. Are they going to be the people who turn first if they do?
This is such a targeted ask. In terms of narrative building, right?
It's amazing,
it's such
right?
a targeted ask. It really like pulls on your moral clarity to make a decision here, and it's calling on a specific group of people to vote a specific way, and we're going to find out what that vote is, and then until the midterms, you can believe that whoever doesn't vote in this way is going to hear about it every single day.
A little more of it. Virginia was failed over and over by the systems that consistently believed and supported her abusers over her. Today, we urge you not to fail another survivor and deny them justice any longer. There have been some reports. Ro Khanna even said it last night, the Democrat, that he thinks maybe 50, 60 Republicans could vote to release this. What does that tell you?
Well, for all the talk of believing victims, believing survivors, there still is so much suspicion cast upon their claims, and there's still such robust efforts, yes, to discredit them. And you read Virginia Giuffre's posthumous memoir, it's stunning in how many twists and turns of she was not believed, and at how many different points in her life suffering such extreme abuse from her father to Jeffrey Epstein. She was never believed. And so now maybe just believe the women and do this for the sake of transparency, for the sake of the nation.
How much does the number of Republicans who vote for it, for disclosure in the House, impact what happens in the Senate? Or does it at all?
I'm not going to speculate on that one unless there is some major sea change and some members of the Senate and members of the House finally being willing to step up and cross Trump on this one. I don't think we're going to see that dramatic of a divide.
Here's the thing, though. We have been asking since Trump's first term, since he was first elected, and did some things that were, let's say, out of the normal of presidential history. What would be the line that some Republicans would not cross? Are we at the point where the question is that line people who abuse children sexually? Is that the question really that this letter asks? And I think a lot of the American public is asking.
I think it is, but I'm never surprised by how low of the new lows that we can stoop to, and deflection. And it's a powerful drug, and also political survival is a powerful drug too. But I would venture that this one sticks with you. This isn't just a random vote for a post office.
Elise Jordan, Brandy Zadrozny with her great reporting as well. Thank you both.